Pentagon says 3 people are dead this morning, killed in an airstrike targeting an alleged drug smuggling boat in the eastern Pacific Saturday. It's the 21st strike in what the military has dubbed Operation Southern Spear. Secretary of State Marco Rubio also announced Sunday the U.S. will designate a cartel with alleged ties to high-ranking Venezuelan officials as a terrorist organization. This all comes as the military is building up troop levels near Venezuela, with the USS Gerald R aircraft carrier now arriving in the Caribbean. President Trump late last night signaled a conflict could be avoided. Here's what he said.
And we may be having some discussions with Maduro, and we'll see how that turns out. They would like to talk.
Let's bring in former U.S. Air Force Assistant Vice Chief of Staff, retired Lieutenant General Richard Newton, also NewsNation senior national security contributor. Lieutenant General, good morning. Always good to see you, sir.
Good morning, Hannah. Always good to be with you, and happy Monday morning.
Happy Monday morning. You and I have talked about Venezuela a lot in the past few weeks. What do you think President Trump is holding out for now from Maduro, as Venezuela's military has also been boosting its troop levels?
Well, right there at the tarmac just south of us at Palm Beach International Airport before he took off to go back to D.C., the president underscored that perhaps there could be an avenue of approach here that would include maybe some diplomatic talks with Venezuela, specifically with President Maduro and his regime. But I think what that could be, really the source of that is as a result, as you mentioned, the USS Gerald R. It's the most powerful combatant naval surface vessel in the world. It's the largest aircraft carrier in the world. Also brings with it dozens of warships as well. And so we've got 20,000 sailors and Marines and other military men and women in the region. We've got 10 F-35 strike fighters. And, this is the most formidable U.S. Armada military capability that I've seen, perhaps even all the way back to the Kennedy administration during the Bay of Pigs issue and the Cuban Missile Crisis back in the early 60s. So that may be driving Maduro to potentially to the somewhat of a negotiating table here in the next few days.
Since we last talked, there are new numbers when it comes to these strikes. At least 83 people have been killed on alleged drug boats, narco-terrorist boats, as the administration calls it. Lawmakers are divided over whether this operation is even legal, logistically, legally. Is this possible, Lieutenant General?
Well, I think first and foremost, the mission here, the U.S. War on drugs. So actually, that goes back to the Nixon administration. Many administrations for decades have been dealing with drugs in the Western Hemisphere, and finally, I think the Trump administration, and appropriately and effectively so, has really taken this war on drugs to another level. And I think I salute the administration for doing so. However, I think it's important that the administration engage with the Congress to make sure that the American people through the Congress, and it can be in classified settings, they've done so, but continue to do so. I want to know what the strategy is, what's the strategic plan, what's the end game, and to understand really we're using now, extraordinary military capabilities to take out these illegal narco drug boats. That's a good thing, by the way, because eventually it'll get less drugs on the streets, for the American people. But the point here is I think we need to continue to engage with the Congress and inform the American people and make sure that we're using the military in a proper way that is, part of the law of armed conflict. I think that's important.
So a bit more transparency.
I agree. I would agree with that. And to really underscore the fact is why is that we're using U.S. military capabilities, and if they can make that connection with the lawful use of military forces to continue on. However, I do believe that my hope is here, and hope's not necessarily a strategy, but this formidable, what I would call gunboat diplomacy that we're seeing play out right now really forces Maduro to some type of negotiations. And really the idea, he's a bad guy, Hannah, not only to the people, but also what he's doing with these drug cartels, and really is a kingpin of the cartel of the sun that Secretary Rubio underscored at a foreign terrorist organization last night and so forth. We need to get him out of there, get him in exile either to Cuba or Russia. That's really the end game here.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.